Listen, obviously it's great for Egan Bernal to win the stage, right? After all the trouble this guy has had in the last years after his horrible accident, to win a stage, of course, it's not the same feeling. There's no victory salute. He doesn't cross the finish line first, where all the people are. There's no podium, but it's a win.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We are breaking down stage 16 of the Vuelta España, and then we will predict and preview stage 17. I'll give a quick background on what happened during the stage, then we'll get Johan's thoughts on what he thought of it. There was a breakaway, went clear. We didn't see it, unfortunately. I'm sure it was exciting as it happened. The big cliff notes are it had Egan Bernal, Mikel Landa, and Marc Solair from UAE. UAE up there again in the breakaway. I've ceased to be amazed and confused by this. I'm just going with it. And up front, the move is breaking up. Eventually, Mikel Landa and Egan Bernal get clear with two FDJ riders plus Nico Denz, who stood out in that group because he was by far the heaviest and the most powerful and the fastest. And this was relevant because there was so many protesters in the final climb. They moved to finish from the top to the bottom. So if Denz made it to the line, he could have won, but they hit a super steep, the second to last climb we talked about in yesterday's preview. Not very long, like 2.5 kilometers, but they were hitting grades of 17%. Bernal and Landa go clear with one of the FDJ riders who unfortunately flats, and then Bernal and Landa kind of awkwardly sprinted out with the 8K to go banner. It looked like they weren't quite sure that was the finish, but Bernal gets his first World Tour win since 2021 at the Giro d'Italia, also on stage 16. Kind of a funny coincidence. Back in the GC group, the most notable thing I thought that happened is they hit the second to last climb. Bahrain goes to the front. Did not see that one coming. Torsten Train putting his team on there. They do drop a few GC guys like Felix Gall, so ended up being worth it. They also dropped the entire UAE team. So João Almeida completely isolated. Jay Vine, who we were talking about being in the breakaway the day before the rest day, pushing on, trying to win that stage. Looked like he paid for it. He's dropped. And then Marc Solair has to come back from the breakaway to support Almeida. He does so in kind of an awkward way, and he gets caught on the final climb and then doesn't really do any work and gets dropped from the front group. I probably would have had him catch them at the top of the climb so he could support him over the top. Jonas Vingegaard has a problem with his bike, flat or mechanical. He takes one from a teammate, just like the Tour de France last year, Ben Toulet, with an incredibly smooth dismount and then pushing of Vingegaard. And apparently Vingegaard didn't tell his team because Matteo Jorgensen stays on the front setting pace, but he gets back in pretty well and then rides that bike to the finish line. We've seen him do that again, where he just doesn't seem to care about riding someone else's bike and is able to do it well enough that it's not a problem. And then the GC group rolls into the finish line. The abbreviated finish line. Felix Gall loses time, and was there any junior? Was there another?
Yeah, Junior
GC
rider, Junior Surf and Felix Gall.
Yeah, but kind of a little bit of a wet blanket of a finish, Johan, with the protest we'll talk about. I mean, we mentioned it yesterday that we thought this would be an issue in the final week, and it has proven to be an issue. But what was your takeaway of the day?
Yeah, obviously, Spencer, the fact that the stage couldn't go all the way to the finish, this was an uphill finish, a decent climb. We didn't get to see that. About 3 kilometers before the finish, more or less, there was a lot. And it was basically impossible for the organization and even the extra police to keep it under control. So I think they made a very wise decision. But to have the finish at the bottom, I was first I was thinking, well, maybe they're going to take the times, and again, no stage winner. That would this time they did it differently. Listen, obviously it's great for Egan Bernal to win the stage, right? After all the trouble this guy has had in the last years after his horrible accident, to win a stage, of course, it's not the same feeling. There's no victory salute. He doesn't cross the finish line first, where all the people are. There's no podium. But it's a win. I mean, somebody had to win, and Egan Bernal won it. So I'm really happy for him to have him win again after maybe a bit of a disappointing Vuelta in terms of GC. Also great to see Mikel Landa there again. He also comes back from, this guy comes back from really, really far. I mean, we all remember his horrible crash on stage 1 of the Giro. Broke his back or his neck. I don't remember what it was. It was very, very serious. And, to be back now and in contention for a stage win, that's also really good. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the break and the fact that UAE had a guy in there, and again, Marc Soler. I don't know what I have to think, Spencer. Something tells me that Marc Soler was not in that break with the intention to be up front and then come back. He was in there for the stage win, which I think, obviously first you have to be in it and then you can make a decision, right? What's happening? It was a big group again, but he didn't need to be in there. They don't need another stage win. What they need to focus on now is how to put the pressure on Jonas and on Visma. And on top of that, this morning, Victor Kampenaerts didn't start because he's sick. So they're down to 6 riders because they already lost Axel Zingle in week 1 and after a few days already. So they're down to 6 riders, right? So I would have tried to have the majority with Almeida over that second last climb. Anyways, then afterwards, it all got cancelled because the stage didn't go through to the finish. But man, Solair was in the front today. He rode okay. He missed that 5-man break. Then he tried to bridge up, didn't make it. But then I'm looking at the group of the favorites on the second to last climb, which was really hard. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was Bahrain setting the pace with 3 or 4 riders for Torsten Train to keep off Junior Lesurf, I guess, because I guess their goal is top 10. And Lesurf was in 9th, I think, and Train was in 10th. So they set the tempo. So you would have to think it's a fast tempo, but it's not the best riders who are setting the tempo. It's not super fast. And what do I see? João Almeida is isolated. Felix Groschartner was getting dropped. He would have made it back, but he was getting dropped. And no Ayuso to be seen. And I said, where's Jay Vine? Where is Jay Vine? Jay Vine is a guy, he has to be there. With if Visma have 4 riders, Bahrain has 3 or 4 riders. That's a bit surprising to me. And so I'm still... I still don't know what's going on. Like, why do they let these guys? Why do they keep them letting go in the breakaways? Why would you go after the polka dot jersey for Jay Vine if you're UAE? Okay, for Jay Vine, it's fine. It's okay, but it cannot be at the expense of the team goal. And it has happened a few times now that the guys who need to be with Almeida in the crucial moments of a certain stage are not there. So that was interesting. That was interesting to see.
Yeah, to me, this was the worst one. We talked about it yesterday. I don't understand Jay Vine. Okay, he's gone for KOM. He gets the KOM points. And then on Sunday, he just keeps pushing for a long time. Spends a lot of energy, a lot. And then is absent from his job. It's like he went out partying. Okay, great. But are you going to show up to work? No, he overslept, missed the alarm, didn't show up to work. Like, now the drinking is a problem. Like, the breakaways have become a problem. They're affecting the life of UAE. And they're in it again. How does this keep happening, Johan? Is it like, who's deciding this? Is this the riders deciding this or management?
Well, I think there's different things. First of all, there's the decisions that are made before the stage. And in my opinion, in my opinion, it needs to be, listen, from now on, nobody goes in the break. We stay with our leader and we're there with him. And whenever, I mean, one thing could be, okay, let's have one rider up front. And if Visma is having trouble, we have already a guy up front who maybe, but Solair should always be in the group whenever, let's say, Toulet is there.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, Toulet has been riding really well, but so.
I mean, Marc Solair is a Paris-Nice winner.
Tour de l'Avenir winner.
Think, and you'd think he could be there with Toulet.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, maybe he can, maybe he cannot. So if the intention was that Solair had to be up front in order to drop back, then I said, okay, good, I buy that. But that was not the case. I mean, he was going for the stage win. Once these 5 guys were gone and he missed that move. He was
like the one welding it back together.
Really fast, like really on. There was one uncategorized climb which was really, really hard. He dropped everybody except what's his name? The guy from Finley.
Finley Pickering.
Finley Pickering, yeah. That was the only guy who could stay with him. So he was going really, really hard. So he was at that moment. He was not thinking about waiting. And then finally they had to call him back because it was getting too tricky for João Almeida. Okay, so the question is, okay, at least he could drop back. Maybe if he would have stayed with the group, he would have been there. But I think it's just an accumulation of the amount of efforts they did and the amount of energy they have spent already going in these long breaks. That now at the end, hey, it's the last week or the last few days of a Grand Tour. I mean, you just have to hang on, hold on to whatever you have,
Yeah. I find it confounding. We'll talk about tomorrow in a little bit. If they're in the breakaway tomorrow, like what are we doing here, guys?
Well, Spencer, they might be. It might be part of a plan. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to figure out what the plan is.
Well, I mean, this isn't what they were thinking, but I hate to say this, Johan. Is the GC done in this race? I just don't see. I mean, I think we should say up top, I think that the Vuelta and UCI need to provide safe racing conditions. Like, it's incumbent upon them to provide a safe course. I think we can all agree on that. I don't really know what they do in this situation. Like, if the protest, especially on these small climbs, these narrow climbs, and that's where the race is finishing, if they want to get on the course, there's not really a lot you can do to stop it. It seems like they're picking up steam. Are we going to see another successful uphill finish at this race?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as we said, there was talks about not having stage in Madrid. Today, when I listened to the Tour of Spain director Javier Guillen, he said that they're going to Madrid. No, it's not going to only depend on him, right? It's
yeah.
But I mean, tomorrow is another uphill finish. Same kind of area, same kind of roads like today. I mean, if they couldn't control it today, what is going to stop the same people from doing the same tomorrow? I mean, they were successful today.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, they were successful back in Bilbao, and then it's like today's another win. They have to be seeing that as a win, and I just imagine that gives them more power to keep doing it.
Yeah. I'm afraid we may see a few more of these modified stages. Obviously, it's. I mean, it's a shame for the Vuelta. It's and for the riders. They all want to race their bikes, and it's definitely, if you see the situation today, they sprint until the bottom of the climb, and of course, and then it's chaos. Nobody there. Of course, all the buses were on top.
Yeah.
Right. There was nobody there. Everybody. I mean, there was not even enough vehicles to transport the riders because it's 2 vehicles per team that are in the race, and all the other vehicles are on top. They couldn't make it down.
I mean, it's a total mess. I mean, here's a provocative. I'm also worried about the time trial. You talk about wanting to disrupt something. There's nothing easier to disrupt than a time trial because there's sitting ducks out there. Should the race be called off? Like, if they can't provide a safe course, should they just cancel it?
I mean, it's an option. It's an option. It's not safe. I mean, look. Javi Romo today had to abandon.
Yeah.
After his crash from 2 days ago, he tried yesterday, but he was hurt too much and he had to abandon. One thing is the protests, and then another thing is the insecurity and crashes. It's obviously a different subject. But if the security of the riders is in danger and you can't guarantee it, there's not that many options, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, what are they doing? The Vuelta is different because a lot of these stages don't finish in towns, but I imagine they have contracts with these starting towns and finish towns, and do they have to keep going to collect the money that those towns have paid?
I mean, yes, but it's not the same. I mean, yes. I mean, the answer is yes. The towns, the start places and the finish places, they pay. But this is ASO. ASO had a lot of money.
True, and a lot of these are very rural areas that.
Yeah, and it's nothing compared to the money that's in the game for the tour. This is completely different.
So Madrid might pay them not to come. I'll pay them not to do the final stage, so they don't have to disrupt everything. But I'm in a pretty negative. Just setting everything else aside, it's like I don't think we're going to see GC race. It just puts a damper on the race when you're like, well, I don't know what would have happened today. We have no idea, and we'll never find out. If Jonas could have dropped, I was quite excited to see that final climb, and then it didn't happen.
I think what's going to happen is there's going to be more and more police coming to the race. But there was already a lot of police today, and they can't keep it under control. I mean, I'm just thinking that this movement is gonna get bigger and bigger. I mean, more and more people are gonna join.
Yeah, and I share an office with my wife, and she works in international relations, and the moment that the Bilbao stage happened, she was hearing about it on calls she was on. So if this is now bigger than cycling, it makes me worry a little bit that the race is going to get put through the shredder a bit. Anything else on today's stage? We should shout out Nico Dens. Guy almost nearly wins a mountain stage. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, I mean, the fact that he was there with these other 4 riders was already impressive. I mean, it's like you say, if he makes it over that climb, there was no way he could make it over that climb, Spencer. It was so steep.
The protesters should have stopped it there.
The riders were zigzagging over the road. There was 17-18%. So it was a lot harder than the last climb, actually. That second to last climb.
Shorter, and we should also say that the FDJ rider Briac Roland. This is the second time I believe he's come. He got third back on stage 12, if you recall, behind Romo and Ayuso. Super impressive ride from this guy. He's 22 years old, so I felt like we glossed over him. Wanted to call him out.
Yeah, is it his first year pro?
If he's 22, it must be close to his first year pro. Yes, it is. He was on the Continental team last year.
Pretty impressive.
Wow. That is pretty impressive. Let's just keep the media away from this man.
Yeah, and also there's this other rider who I did not know. On FDG on Groupama, Bras Alfonso was already in a move also, and today he was actually with Egan Bernal and Mikel Landa until he had a puncture. Also, really a name to remember and to follow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's in theory possible that he wins the stage. If he doesn't, it just shows you. I mean, they're going through a hard time. Groupama, FDJ, a lot of talent though that they still pick up. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I guess their development program is pretty good. I'm going to guess this guy also comes through the development program. Like, this guy's 25 already, I think, Braz Alfonso.
Yeah, he is 25. And then it's his first year, but he was on a continental team last year. So it's his first year as like, I guess, like a pro rider. Yeah. It must be a story there. I don't fully.
Which team was he on? Nice? Côte d'Azur?
Nantes. Nantes Atlantique. Yeah. I should get this guy on the show.
Yeah.
That is impressive. Anything else on today's stage before we move on?
No, I don't think so. That's about it.
All right. Well, let's take a quick ad break, and then we will preview stage 17. Today's episode is brought to you by Cook Unity. During the Vuelta, I am quite busy watching the race, podcasting, putting out my newsletter about the race. Long days, late nights, barely enough time to eat healthy. And that normally means I end up sacrificing health for convenience, which is not good for my long-term viability as a person. But lately, Cook Unity has been delivering fresh, never frozen meals straight to my door, and I am in love with this product. Last night, after getting out the newsletter, I had Chef Jean-Jour's miso salmon. It was perfectly cooked, fresh vegetables on the side, which I probably normally would not include in my meal. It felt like I was sitting down at a restaurant, except it was ready in under 5 minutes in my own kitchen. That's what makes Cook Unity different. Every meal is crafted by award-winning chefs, Food Network alums, even James Beard Award winners. They handpick ingredients, rotate seasonal menus with over 300 options. It never gets repetitive or boring. And it's not just about taste. Their app makes it really simple to filter by cuisine and even specific chefs. So fueling up between recording sessions has never been easier. No cooking, no cleanup, just fresh chef-driven meals delivered right to my door, which I'm a big fan of. I'm very lazy when it comes to my food. And you can pause it while you're away. So that would be another thing I would be worried about. But the app is very easy to navigate. Fuel your day with the freshest, best tasting meal delivery made by award-winning chefs. Go to cookunity.com/themovefree or enter code THEMOVEFREE before checkout for free premium meals for life. That's an incredible deal. Free premium meals for life does not get better than that. Using code THEMOVEFREE or cookunity.com/TheMoveFree. All right, Johan, stage 17 tomorrow. Another mountain stage, I'm not racing it, but just from the profile, looks mild, I would say. I know people might, if we actually rode the course, would say, well, that was quite hard. But not a lot of damage will be done to the peloton, probably. There's a sprint point with bonification seconds about 100 kilometers into the stage. The whole stage is 144 kilometers. And then it finishes with a really, really tough final climb, 9K long, 10% average. It looks like the final 5K is 11% average. So this will be an incredibly tough stage. I'll list off the favorites, and then we'll get your take on who is going to win. Jonas Vingegaard is the favorite at plus 185. This is on FanDuel in the US. You might see slightly different prices elsewhere. João Almeida plus 280. Jay Vine plus 1,100. Juan Ayuso plus 1,300. Jai Hindley plus 1,400. Tom Pidcock plus 2,700. Santiago Buitrago plus 2,700, Sepp Kuss plus 3,000, goes on and on and on. We'll call them out if we need to. And if you do want to bet, check out nxtbets.com/bet outcomes. It will show you the best price wherever you live and where to bet where you live and the best sign-up bonuses for each book. But Johan, how does this play out and who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, well, you say mild, Spencer. 143 kilometers and there's 3,250 meters of vertical. So that's not nothing. And the last climb, I mean, I think I have a different profile here. It says it's 8.8 kilometers at 9.5%. The last 3 kilometers seem a bit easier. So
maybe I misread that. It's the first 5 kilometers is 11%.
Okay, yes. The first 5 kilometers, yes. The first 5 kilometers are very, very hard. The last 3.8 are a bit better. I mean, it's 8.6 and then 6.5.
Yeah,
7.7 and 7.5. So it's still very steep. But because of the fact that the easier part of the climb is at the end, I'm going to pick João Almeida to win in a sprint against Jonas and other favorites. He's plus 300, and also I think tomorrow he has to win. If he still wants, if he still wants a chance, he needs to start getting time back, and so tomorrow could be one of those days. João Almeida plus 300 for the win.
I mean, at some point, UAE has to circle the wagons, target a stage right at the front. Almeida wins and takes time back. It is a good climb for Almeida because it's so steep. The Almeida. The thing you don't want to see is like him starting to yo-yo off the back. But when it's that steep, he won't yo-yo because it's just so slow and hard, and everyone's going as hard as they can. It's really good for him. And then he can maybe win the sprint at the end. I'm going to go, though, Jonas Vingegaard plus 200 because I could see Vingegaard attacking at the bottom of this climb, getting clear, and then holding them off. I mean, he doesn't really have to, but he kind of like... I just can't imagine he wants to go into this TT with a 48-second lead. That would not... I don't think that's ultra comfortable. So I think he will try to extend his lead tomorrow if he truly is the strongest rider in this race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's logical that these two riders are the big favorites. Looking at this stage, Spencer, I think a breakaway has very little chance. I actually think that UAE will control this stage. They kind of have to. They kind of have to control it and make sure that it's all together, or that at the bottom of the last climb, they're in it for the win. So my second pick is going to be another guy from GC. If it's not Jonas or João Almeida, it has to be Jay Hindley. I think he's the third strongest climber in this race at this moment. I think that Pidcock was up there a few stages ago, but I think Jay Hindley has kind of made up that deficit in terms of form right now. And on a climb like tomorrow, I could see Jay Hindley also having a chance to win. He's plus 1,400, so that's interesting.
That's actually pretty smart because he's under almost the most pressure to attack if he wants third. Like he needs to pull, and he doesn't know how many. The problem is, it's like you're flying blind here. Like, how many chances are you going to have? Like, this might be the last summit finish. Like,
well, and then the question is, Spencer, are we going to have a mountaintop finish tomorrow? That's the conditional. We don't know.
That's where I'm zagging here for my wild card. I'm going at Finlay Pickering plus 12,500. Just in the case, I think you're right. I think it's too hard for a break to stay away on the climb. But if they finish at the bottom like today, a break probably wins. So go ahead and pick whoever you think is going to be strongest from the break. Pickering is really, I assume this is not the child of Ed Pickering, the cycling rider. But if it is, that's incredible. But he has really impressed me at this race. So I'm going to go at this part of the race. You tend to see the same people or GC guys that are no longer GC guys like we saw today at the front. So I'm going to go Pickering for the win at plus 12,500.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Anything else, Johan, on the stage?
I just hope we have a regular and nice stage tomorrow.
Yes, just a normal stage where they finish the race would be fantastic. It is quite short, 143 kilometers, so should be explosive. We might not see all of that because of the television decision. The problem with their TV programming is they're like turning the race on after everything's happened, and then the last part gets canceled. So it's like the worst possible TV product you could have. Yeah.
I would not want to be in the shoes of the Vuelta organization right now. Some really stressful moments, stressful days.
You start to realize like a lot of pro cycling is dependent on like communion between fans and riders.
Yeah.
Like, please don't storm the course because there's not really anything we can do to stop you if you want to. All right,
we're gonna end up doing circuit races in the future, Spencer. Something that is completely controllable.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. I was like, they're gonna have to like find a car racing track in Spain and do the last 5 stages on that. Like it's not a good prospect at the moment. All right. Thanks, Johan. And we will be back to break this down tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks, Spencer.
All right. Bye.